Welcome to this week's video. We got our railing done, as you can see here, and also I was able to get the floor stained. I'm gonna cover it with a sealer or a floor cover of some sort later on, but I'll show you the process of getting this and some other things done. First of all, the railing, I had a guy from a village here, pretty local, that did my railing. He did a really good job at it. Really great welder. And so first of all, he's just knocking all the slag off the welds. There's a lot of different elements to this. We had the bars going upright, and then the little C elements with leaves in the middle of them. So he had to weld each one of these together to make it fit. First of all, I had to fit it to the stairs. I had shown that last week, fitting it to the stairs to get it to the right measurement up, and then also the railing above the living area and in front of my children's bedroom was going to be their bedroom play area. So here he is just brushing it off with a grinder to clean everything, make it all smooth, and get it looking just perfect. After that, we got to painting it. I got some bronze paint that I thought looked pretty good, or I thought it was going to be good because I like the bronze color, but whenever we got it fully painted, sad to say, it was pretty light. It looked more goldish than bronze, and I wanted something a lot darker, so especially my wife did, and so talked to her, and we had to change out the color of paint, added a little black to it so they got it a little darker. So you'll see what it looks like once we get it installed. That would have been the color that we finally stayed with, not this goldish, bronzish, kind of greenish color. Then after it was painted and had been dried for a little bit, we were able to bring it inside. It was good we were able to get it inside the day because it rained that night, and it would have been a pain to cover it up and keep it clean. And it was already kind of a pain to situate it in the place because this is a pretty long straight railing. To get it up the steps and under the beams was a little tricky, but it worked out, and it worked out pretty good. And then once we got it placed, we found the old drill holes where the screws had been in before we took it down, and put the elements in and screwed it fast to the steps and to everywhere where it had been grounded, so it would be nice and solid. And then also he was able to weld little brackets on to hold it to the corner here, and then also to hold it to the beams, so it actually really stiffened up my steps too and made them really solid so they don't wiggle at all when you go up and down. It turned out rather beautiful. I'm very happy with how the whole railing turned out. It looks perfect. And then my wife came and painted on what they call a patina, which is basically just this light paint. I don't know what the English word would be for it, or if that is maybe an English word for it, but it's this paint that makes it look kind of old, so it got a little bit of a oldish, goldish look to it to make it look a little more authentic and fit in with the rest of the house. And while the railing was being built, I was doing a bunch of other things. Got finished with the cabinets, most of the cabinets at least, and got the countertop on here. The guys that sent me the countertop had sent one of them was wrong, but I was able to, it blends in well enough, so I was able to keep it. is this one right here, which has skinnier boards than the others, but I don't think you'll ever notice unless I would have told you. And then I also got the stove installed, and the lights above the stove and above the sink, they look pretty good. This light here I don't have working yet, but I think I will get it working. But it's at least able to get it installed and put it in place. We also got the doors for the bathroom and the hallway installed, and so here that's us installing it, screwing them into position so that it would open right. I didn't want to have it hitting the floor. It does have a bit of a threshold in it that I need to do something about. I don't know if I'll just cut it out or what I'll do about that, but here's my helper. He is mudding the hallway after we got this drywall done, and he put the tongue and groove on the roof. I don't have video of that, but we've got tongue and groove on the roof of the hallway. And I also was, as I had said in the last video, I worked on putting epoxy. I was going to put epoxy and sawdust into the cracks of the floor. Well, it didn't turn out as well as I thought it would, because the epoxy tends to run down under the floor because my floor is not tight against the concrete, so it can run down and kind of spill under the floor, and it would take a lot of epoxy, and epoxy's really expensive, so I ended up filling most of the gaps with liquid glue. I might do a couple more of them, but they don't bother me too much, especially after I got it stained. It actually looked pretty good. I also was able to join a couple of the boards together that were kind of that would click whenever you walk across them, because they had a bit of a space between or floated across the concrete, so I drilled the holes in them and screwed them together to try to kind of hide that screw so that you don't see it, and then sand over top. And I got everything sanded and cleaned and ready for some stain. I was able to find some stain online that I really liked, and an oil-based stain. It worked a lot better than the water-based stain I had earlier. And this is what that looks like after I got it all stained. We just need to get it varnished now after the stain dries, and then the floor will be ready to go, and get the stove installed and the sink installed hopefully next week, and a bunch of that other stuff done, finishing up stuff.